This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Psalms 118, verse 24. What a beautiful verse. This is the day that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. Every day that the Lord makes, every day that we wake up and there's another day for us, we should be rejoicing and be glad in it. Today is a rainy day, another rainy day, but it's another day. And so I say amen to that. It has not been an easy spring for us. I'm not sure what's going on with our weather these days, but it seems like our summer gets here later and later, and our springs get just rougher and rougher. They're not as pretty as they used to be. I mean, it used to be that you'd get into spring and you'd hit your 50s or 60s. The flowers would start to grow. The trees would start to bloom. You'd start to see the beauty in things. And I'm seeing it, but we're not getting quite all the sunny days that I think we should. You know, the rain was supposed to be in April, but in April we were getting snow and ice. So you can't win, right? But you try. And you remember that you're still alive and you woke up this morning and you're still here and it's another day. And so you thank God and you rejoice. That's what I believe. And I hope that most of you believe that as well. I hope that most of you are at least enjoying your beginning of spring. And even if it isn't perfect, I hope that you're enjoying it. I want to apologize for being gone for so long. I know the next episode of the podcast was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. And unfortunately, I have been enduring a lot of things lately. So it got away from me a little bit. And I apologize for that. But my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer recently. And so it took me back a little bit, and I had a lot to endure, and I had some things to help her with. But things are good right now. She had surgery. They believe they removed every bit of it. Now it's just a matter of some further treatment to make sure it doesn't come back. And so, God willing, she's good to go, and that cancer is gone. I know He hears our prayers because, boy, did I pray. I cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed. And I asked everybody to pray. And I know He hears our prayers. I also have been, taking care of my dad, like I have told you before. I am determining new things. I've done some research. And I do believe that my dad may not have dementia, as I said before, even though he was diagnosed with it. I'm not always sure that I believe everything doctors tell you, quite honestly. But I've been doing my own research, and I think he may have more of a brain fog. And I say this because Dad is not declining, and he has elected not to take his medication anymore, which was kind of frustrating for me at first. But now I see that it hasn't made a difference. He hasn't gotten any worse. So I very much think that this is more of a brain fog than a dementia. And I say that for a couple reasons. As I said, I did a bunch of research. I know that dementia is usually across the brain. This is more on one side for him. I did learn, my dad had some injections in the back of his skull that were this, what do you call it? Like a doctor was doing a treatment on him he'd never done before, right? So trial thing. He was doing injections in the back of his skull for migraines. And I think those injections may have caused this brain fog in his head, because shortly after those is when he started losing his memory and not being able to put his sentences together, things like that. But also I found out that the COVID vaccinations can cause the same brain fog, and it can stay with you. Believe it or not, these COVID vaccinations have long-term side effects that are not always so pretty. And that would be the reason I never got one. Because as a registered nurse, if I have to be forced into getting a vaccine, yeah, I'm not doing it. You're not putting something in my body that it didn't take you very long to create and that you think that I need to be forced into. I'd sooner have you fire me if I can't work because I don't have it. Fire me. But I am going to save myself. I am not going to put myself in harm's way for something I know nothing about, I don't believe in, and I'm being pressured into or forced into taking. So I didn't do it. My dad took 4 of them because now they tell you that you have to get all these additional vaccines, right? To keep the other one going or whatever, to keep this, keep you protected. But he's had 4 of these vaccines. And so I have to believe those. And then these migraine injections have played a bit with his memory. And that's what I'm starting to believe. So I started him on some vitamins and we're going to see how those do. They're meant to clear your mind, help with the brain fog, strengthen your brain. And so we'll see how those do. I started him on turmeric, vitamin B12, and a vitamin D with potassium too. So we'll see how that works. And I'm hopeful because I really think, I spoke to him today and he sounded much better than I've heard him sound in quite a while. And he's only been on the vitamins for a couple weeks. So that's a good sign. So we'll see. And I will keep you up to date on that. I'll let you know if Christy is a doctor, not a nurse. Just kidding. But sometimes I think we can be just as smart as some of these doctors because we know our body better than anybody, right? So it's not always the option to take a medication to fix everything. I just don't know that that's true. I think we can change our health by ourselves with the way we change our diet and the way we learn to get physical and, work out and heal our body that way. I think that's possible. And so I like those treatments a little better than taking a bunch of medication that has fillers and side effects and what have you. But that's just my opinion. So yes, I have been gone for a little while. And as I said, I've had quite a bit on my plate. Our house flooded. We had some pretty torrential rains here. So the house flooded and we have to get the carpeting and tile replaced, which we're doing. We're also getting our well pump replaced because I think we believe that was the problem. It just wasn't operating like it should have. And so, yep, we've had to endure that. And then we are opening our store, which I told you guys, I think in the last episode or so, that we are opening our own store, our own business. And it is called US Route 23. It is on F41 in Oscoda, Michigan. And it is a leather and Western apparel store. And so we are super excited. We will have, and we do have already, because we've been getting this store ready, which it's kept me busy. We have cowboy boots, cowgirl boots. We have blue jeans. We have country Western clothing. We have biker boots. We have leather jackets. We have leather vests. We have chaps. We have belts, wallets, purses. We have some jewelry, turquoise jewelry, men's jewelry. We have a whole line of Western and cowboy hats, cowgirl hats. We have Stetson. We have Twister. We have Laredo boots. And we are in the process of getting so much more. We have Milwaukee leather. How exciting is that? Right? So we've got some pretty good, pretty big companies in there. We have Rock and Roll Denim. Super excited about that as well. And we are working on getting a few more involved in our store. Some of these bigger companies are a little harder to convince. But we'll get there. We will get there. I will tell you this is going to be phase 1 for us, which means that we got the initial product in. So we are going to have a grand opening on May 23rd, 10 a.m. We will have the radio station 99.3 out there, WATZ. And we will also have 104.7 Carol Broadcasting. They will be promoting and advertising our store for us. So we are super, super excited for the event. 10 a.m., May 23rd is the grand opening, US Route 23 on F41 in Oscoda, Michigan. Don't miss it. You're going to love it. It is so exciting. We are so excited about it. And as I said, phase 1. So all of the initial product is there, but quarterly throughout the year, every 3 to 4 months, we will be updating product and revamping things so it'll always feel fresh and new. That's what our plan is. So get out there, take a look at it. We would love to have you come join us and celebrate with us on May 23rd. We're going to have some giveaways, so don't miss it. It'll be a great time. But now that I've advertised that, yes, I have a lot on my plate, which is what I was saying. And so it has kept me a little bit busy and distracted. And that's why I've missed an episode of podcast here. So, but I am back and I'm ready to have a conversation with you today. So let's chat. Okay. Chatting is good. Let's get to the topic today. The topic today, well, I don't usually give titles to my topics, I guess. Or maybe I do. Maybe I have in the last couple of podcasts. Today, I'm not giving you a title to this topic, but I am going to talk to you today about people. That's about as topic as I'm going to get about it. People, right? People. You don't know people till you know people, right? Till you get to know them. That's the cold hard facts. You don't know people till you really get to know them. Sometimes you're not interested in getting to know people because you meet them, you get a feeling, a vibe, and you're like, nope, not for me. Nope, not interested. And sometimes, pardon me, sometimes you just don't know. I mean, you just believe that. I'm sorry, I'm skipping away from you for a second. Sometimes you just believe that you know someone and you really don't, right? So that's my topic today. Finding out about people you thought you knew. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. I know. You can't help it because everywhere you go, you meet new people and you make friends and you make acquaintances. And sometimes you share those acquaintances or friends with other people. And those are the ones I think that you really, truly have faith in or believe in or like, right? So yeah, people are strange, right? That's the song. People are strange, but they are. You just don't know what to expect. And I have to tell you, I don't like the way some people behave. I don't like the mentality that you don't understand or aren't willing to understand someone, especially somebody in your family. Like, you have someone in your family and you're treating them like crap because you don't really know who they are and you presume to think you know who they are. I don't think that's okay. I don't think, everybody has to give everybody the opportunity to grow up, right? And to change and to be different. And that's not saying that it doesn't take time and that you might not go through quite a bit of process to get there, to finally see them change or be different or be what you constitute as better in your eyes. But, I think we all forget that none of us are perfect, that we've all made mistakes, that we've all made bad decisions. we've all been crappy to someone. We've all been negative. We've all said something we regret. I can't imagine there's a single person out there in this world that can say, no, I never did anything wrong. I've never been crappy to anybody. I've never said anything that I regret. Yeah, no, I'm perfect. I don't think there's a single person out there that can say such a thing. I just don't. My opinion, obviously, but I have to believe that, we all make mistakes. And there's a Bible verse that says, unless those who don't live in a glass house can cast the first stone, right? The Bible verse says, those without sin, let them cast the first stone, right? And this is God telling these people that are throwing stones or getting ready to throw stones at this woman who they constitute as a Jezebel or a prostitute, if you will, and they don't like her, so they want to stone her. And the Lord stands in front of her and he says, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. That's pretty good, right? Because not a single one of those people could throw that stone they had in their hand. Not a single one. And God knew that. He knew that. And that was his point. It isn't our place to judge people. It can't be our place to judge people because we are certainly not without fault. And I think that's what frustrates me the most is I have people in my life that consistently have opinion about people. I don't want to get into detail because I don't want to say names. I don't even want to portray how they're connected to me. But these particular people seem to always have an opinion about someone in my life. And so much so that they just seem to think that this person is not, they seem to believe that this person has a lot of issues and has done a lot of things wrong in their past. So much so that they have no belief in him, for the most part. At least that's how it comes off. They're very disrespectful. And I said him. We'll leave that alone. But they're very disrespectful to this person. And they're very opinionated about the way this person chooses to live or behave or about this person's opinions or thoughts or feelings. And I don't think that's okay. I don't. This person is treated dismissively and disregarded, and that frustrates the hell out of me because it's not okay. And I happen to have a lot of faith in this person. I happen to love this person. I love a lot of people, but I happen to love this person. I happen to believe in this person. I happen to think that this person is a wonderful person with a huge heart, a very caring person. And this person is just being misread and mistreated unfairly. And I don't like it. And I'm one of these people that if you're mistreating one of my friends or somebody that I'm close to, you're mistreating me. And I'm feeling just as disrespected as I feel that you are disrespecting them. And that's not okay. I don't like it. And I expect better. That's the kind of person I am. And so I stand my ground. I stand up for my family. I stand up for my friends because that's just the kind of person I am. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm not telling you again that I'm perfect or I haven't had faults in my life because I have. And of course I've judged people. Of course I've critiqued people. I'm human. We do it. I didn't say we don't do it because we do. I'm one of these people that always has a gut feeling about someone. and I can get a vibe from someone and know if that person is someone I want to be around, spend time with, befriend, keep involved in my life. That's the kind of person I am. And if you go out there and read my books, I told you in one of the episodes, I probably told you in every single one, I've written 3 books so far, and I am a very spiritual person, and so that comes from my grandmothers, and so I like to believe, or I tend to feel and believe that I have a spiritual connection, that I can sense things, and um, and so I can sense a good person. I can sense a person that um, isn't quite the person I want to be around, and I get a vibe off of those people that just have um, a persona that I don't like, you know. Um, but my conversation today is more so about what why people think that it's okay to judge and throw stones and treat people the way that they do without ever giving them a chance to be, without ever really looking at them, without ever really seeing the real person. I, you know, I don't understand that. I don't. And I don't think that you get to pick and choose like that, um, how you treat someone versus how you treat someone else, right? Not to that extent. It's really hard for me to have this conversation because it's really personal to me, and I don't want to go too in depth and have a whole on air conversation about something that is that personal. But I just there's just someone in my life that's being treated not so well, and I don't like it. And um, they have other family members that are being treated way better. And there's a certain particular person in that group that I know that they're the main reason that this person is being treated so poorly. Um, or at least I feel like they're the main reason that this person is being treated so poorly. And that frustrates me because, again, none of these people are without fault. And so I really think they need to revisit their own minds and their own thoughts before they make assumptions and judgments and accusations towards someone, because it's really hurtful. It's really wrong. And it will come back to haunt you. This isn't in any way a threat to anybody. I'm just saying, when you're crass and crappy to people and you disregard them and treat them so poorly, God sees that, and you will get yours for that, because it's just how the world works. It's how life is. You can't be that kind of person and not expect that you're going to feel some repercussion from it somewhere down the line. So yeah, I mean, there's people in our lives that you get to know them and you appreciate them and you care about them and you find a level of respect for them and admiration and care. And then as you get to know them deeper and more in depth, you find out more about them, and sometimes not things that you wanted to find out. Sometimes you're like, oh wow, you never struck me as this kind of person, but now here you are, being this different person. And that is really an eye-opening awakening for sure. So I guess my conversation today is, I want to remind everybody that we're all carrying a lot of heavy baggage. We all have faults. We all have made mistakes. We all have made wrong choices in our lives. We all have committed sin in some factor or another. And the only way that we can clear ourselves of those things is to ask forgiveness from the Lord. That is my belief. To ask Him to wash away our sins, and ask forgiveness for the mistakes we have made, start over and do better. I mean, you have to do better, right? But have you ever been in that situation where you see somebody being treated poorly and you want to say something so bad, but something tells you that you probably shouldn't because you just don't want to stir the pot and cause more turmoil for anyone? But boy, it's hard. It's hard not to chime in and say, hey, eventually I think I probably will, because I have a hard time keeping my tongue, especially when I'm that affected by it. So we'll see. But I also wonder, how many of you really, you get to know someone and you get very close to them, and then you find out that there's someone you totally didn't even know and you thought you did, right? I mean, I've been there. I've also been there where I knew someone, but I thought they could change and I expected them to change and I waited for that change and they didn't. So I guess there's just all kinds of aspects, but it's not easy to connect with people and to be on the same mentality with everything, because sometimes you just learn more than you wanted to know, and sometimes you just can't continue to accept that that's okay anymore. And I know I'm being very vague. I know about my whole conversation here because I'm talking about multiple different people in my life. So this is an odd podcast because I'm kind of going all over the place. But I guess, let me take a breath here, because I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe we should all take a step back. Think about what we have done, what we have endured, the kind of person we have been, the kind of person we are now, before we look at someone and make a judgment call. Before we treat them differently, before we attack them for being something that we don't understand, or someone, right? Maybe we just need to give the opportunity to ask, why are you like that? Or why are you doing those things? Maybe it's not our business, right? Sometimes it's just not our business. Maybe they're having a bad day. Who knows? But I mean, I've been there. I've had bad days where I've been really short with people, but maybe sometimes you're just not giving them enough time. Maybe you just got to let it go and walk past it and hope that you never see that side of them again and that it was a fluke. But there's going to be times, I think, when you do see that side of them again. And then you have to decide whether there's someone you want to keep in your life, right? That's the tough stuff. My son, my second oldest, he went to Europe recently. He was in Paris and also in Rome, Italy. And I was super jealous. Like, I want to go to Italy so bad. But he sent me all these beautiful pictures, told me what a wonderful time he was having. I was so excited for him. And he was telling me how wonderful it was over there. Like, he loved it. He thought it was gorgeous and beautiful. And it just kind of, because of all the old world nature over there, all the old buildings and, just the difference in the culture over there, how it just affects you differently. He was telling me about this cave over there that is just filled with bones, human bones, which is so, I don't even know. I probably couldn't enter that cave because that would just affect me way too much. But he spoke about how it affected him and how it just overwhelms you and kind of just puts this emotion into you that you're not expecting. He spoke about walking into the Vatican and feeling extremely overwhelmed, and just feeling so much of the photos and the statues that he was looking at. And he also spoke of the people over there. And he said, everybody always talks about Europe as this place that people are not always, people from other countries don't usually like people coming over and touring from other countries, right? Well, he said that's not necessarily true because he went over there and everybody was so kind and so friendly. But one of the funny things he brought up, which was interesting, and not interesting because I kind of knew it, just based off of, we have the internet today, we have TV. I mean, we see the culture, we see the difference in people that are from other countries, right? Um, Obviously, you hear the difference in their dialect, right? That's one of the differences. But he said they're beautiful people, right? Very. I mean, the women are, he says, just gorgeous, gorgeous skin and very pretty. But then they smile and their teeth are just so bad. And so he was like, wow, you just don't expect it. Like there's this whole other side. Well, I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like you meet someone and you see this so really sweet, nice people, really genuine people. You have this idea of them, and then they start showing the real true them. They start showing the inner layer. They show their teeth, if you will. And then you're not so impressed anymore. And that's hard to take sometimes because you really, truly didn't want to have that feeling towards them. But it's easy to happen because we don't know people like we think we know people most of the time. And I'm one of those people, I think if you know me, if you've met me, you pretty much know me. I mean, I pretty much wear myself on my sleeve. I don't hide a whole lot. I don't know how. I mean, my emotions are always on my face. So if I'm angry, you know it. If I'm grossed out by something, you know it because I show it on my face every single time. But yeah. So, but there are some people that you don't know. They put on a good facade. They put on a good show. And then you meet them underneath all that underlying hoopla, like somebody you might meet at work. And at work, they carry a persona, right? And they are the nicest and complimenting and kind person. But outside of work, they are ravenous and crappy and, shitty and not the kind of person you want to be around, right? Or vice versa. They're really cranky at work, but leave work and get away from that atmosphere and they're just sweet as pie and fun loving and happy and you just don't know because people always seem to put on this front. Even the people that don't believe they put on a front, they put on a front because they're afraid for people to really see the true them. They want to sound tougher and stronger than they are. Doesn't mean that they are. They want to sound like they have everything all together. Doesn't mean that they do. And, they want to sound like they don't care what people think. But everybody does. In some way or another, everybody does. Maybe not to the point, you may not care as much as I care about what people think. I don't know why I care so much about what people think. It's a bad trait. And I'm trying to break it because I'm tired of beating myself up. right now, I just want to be me. I want to be happy. Pardon me. I want to be happy. That was a weird voice. Um, and I want to live my life my way. I want to smile. I want to dance. I want to sing. Uh, I want to feel every happiness. I want to travel. And I just want joy in my life. You know, I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of all the bad and the negative, and I'm tired of fighting people. It's just getting old, and I'm tired of, there's constantly this cruddy news. And that was another thing that happened since I've been gone. My aunt passed away. So, I just, been dealing with my dad not wanting to take his medication anymore and handing me over his bills to pay. And then my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. And just shortly after that, I get a phone call as I'm trying to plan to go down to take her for surgery. I get a phone call from my cousin, who's like a brother to me, saying that his mother passed away, and which is my mom's sister, which really was not helpful for my mother and the situation she was going through either. Um, and it just seemed like it just kept piling on and piling on. And in the midst of all that, I was trying to procure a flood that was happening in my house. So it just and get this business going, right? Like, not get it going, but get my store full so I can be ready to open and get everything ready. So it can be really overwhelming. So of course I go for a physical, and my blood pressure, is sky high because I'm stressed out. And so of course, if I'm stressed out, what am I? I'm negative, I'm cranky, I'm emotional. I'm not me. And so I'm certainly not willing to deal with other people's crap. And sure enough, we're getting that crap. And so it's like, okay, now I'm going to start showing my teeth, because I'm really done dealing with people's garbage. And so I had to deflate myself a little. My husband had to help me with that and say, honey, take a breath before you do something that you're going to regret. Just take a breath, give it a few days, let everything die down, and go from there. And if you still feel like you need to say something, then say something. And he, of course, he likes to believe that he's always right. But this time he was right. I needed to take a breath. I needed to sit back. That doesn't mean that I still don't think I should say something. But I'm remiss to say, it's probably best that I don't until I really, 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 really have to, which may come to fruition at some point. But I'm trying to do well by everyone, and I'm trying to take care of my parents, trying to take care of my home, trying to raise my final son, my youngest son, who's getting ready to go into his senior year of high school, which is killing me, folks, killing me, because I am not ready to watch that one walk out the door yet and be an empty nester. But it's going to happen. I know that. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I just have to hope and pray that I have taught him enough that he will be safe and strong and capable on his own. And I believe I have, and I believe he is, and he will be. But I'm not ready for it, no matter what. If I had my way, all my kids would be living close by me, and I would be able to see them every day. But it's probably a good thing that we don't see each other every day, because we'd probably drive each other crazy. But as I was saying, I have enough on my plate. I don't need to endure all the other crap. So, yeah, I know I should take a step back, and I should breathe, and I should, give it time. And I intend to do that, because I love my husband, and I have faith that, he wouldn't steer me wrong. That, because I've been going through so much and my emotions are so high, I probably would say things that I really wouldn't normally say, and that probably aren't necessary to say. So I'm I'm taking a back seat on it, which is not easy for me, because it is really, really who I am to stand up and defend people and their honor, especially people that I love that are vitally important to me. And so it's really hard to not do that. But I'm doing my best. And so I don't know if any of you understand that or have been through it, but you know, it's not easy. I mean, like I said, we are all guilty. We are all have been problematic in our lives. We all have been shitty in our lives. We all have made stupid decisions, bad decisions, horrible decisions, guilt-ridden, sinful decisions. We've done it, and so how do you not say that, we are all filled with sin. We are. And like I said, we can ask God to forgive us, to wash away our sins. We can tell him that we are ready to change and become better. And that's what I believe. That's what I do on a daily basis, because I know that I have done many things wrong, that I've made many bad decisions, and so I need him every day to hear me say that I know I screwed up. I know I made bad decisions. I know I was wrong, and I need forgiveness, and I need my sins to be washed away. And even though he forgives me and washes those sins away, they're not anything I'll ever forget. And I'll always be angry at myself that I let myself get to that point, because it's not okay. And it doesn't fix any situation, that you're in, to make a bad decision or a bad judgment call or do something to lash out at someone. It doesn't fix it. It won't, never will. It didn't then. It's so every day I remember those things, and I pray to God that he remembers and forgives me. So I think we all need to do that. I think we all need to take a step back, stop judging people, stop attacking people, stop belittling people, and remember that we all need a little faith. We all need a little understanding, and we all need a little forgiveness. And, each and every one of us can look at the other and say, yeah, I know you've done things wrong, and we can attack you for it. We can judge you for it. But wouldn't it be nice if we just understood and loved you and said, hey, we all make mistakes. We've all been there. None of us are perfect. Let's move on. Let's get past it. Just don't let it happen again. Because, there's only so many times I can take that mistake before I don't understand anymore. But for now, let's move on. Let's get past it. Let's love one another. You have to see the beauty in somebody that you wouldn't otherwise see, because you weren't looking, because all you could see was what they did wrong. You have to look for it. It's like seeing a person on the bus and they're really dirty, and you think, God, what the heck's wrong with them? They're filthy dirty. They're a mess. They stink. Think they would clean themselves up, but you don't know their situation. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know why they look that way. Maybe they just got off work, Maybe they're homeless and they're just doing the best they can. You don't know. So to judge it is not really fair. Maybe you see I thought about this one time. I was sitting at a stoplight. I was on my way to work, sitting at a stoplight, and I thought, I'm looking at these people on each side of me in their vehicles, waiting at the same stoplight. And I thought, I wonder where they're going today. I wonder what's going on in their mind right now as they're headed to wherever they're going. And I thought, maybe that woman next to me, I see there's a car seat. Maybe she's headed to work. Maybe she just dropped off her child, and she's headed to work. You know, maybe she's having a really bad day and she is on her way to pick up her child and she worked midnights and she's exhausted. I don't know, right? We don't know. I'm just looking at her thinking, I wonder where she's going or what's going on in her mind. And then I look at the guy at the other side of me and he's jamming to the music and he's revving his engine and you can tell he's impatient. And I'm thinking, he's enjoying his music, but maybe he's not enjoying it. Maybe he's singing it like intensely because he's angry. Maybe it's a song that fits the emotion, right? Maybe he's impatient because he's late for work. Or, maybe he's just angry at the world and out there lashing out. Maybe he's drunk right now and he's driving around angry. Who knows? I didn't know. All I could do was make up these stories in my brain and assume, right? I walk in to the store. I stop for coffee right on my way to work. And there's a mom with a child screaming. And I thought, oh my Lord, man, when your child is screaming, get them out of the store. Nobody wants to hear that, right? But then I thought, I don't know this woman. Maybe she's a single mom. She's exhausted. She just got off work. She's taking her baby to get some things she needs for the house because she just picked up her kid from daycare or a family member. And, maybe she's just exhausted and has no energy to control this child right now. I don't know. Because that's the fact, people. To look at someone, you don't know what's going on in their mind. You don't know what's going on in their world. You don't know who they are at all. So all you can do is assume. All you can do is judge. But you're judging on something that you're just assuming. That's my point. Maybe we need to stop doing that. It's not wrong to be a little irritated that there's a screaming child in the store, right? Especially when you see a mom who's completely ignoring it. Or, I seen a woman not too long ago. I was in a Harley Davidson store and she had her kids in there. And the one little boy was just crying and crying and crying. And the mom was instructing the two other kids to watch the little one and, keep him under control. And she was trying on boots and all this stuff at the store. And the little one wasn't listening. He was just screaming and crying and just throwing stuff and just being all, crazy. Mom puts him in a fitting room and locks the door and says, you stay in there until I'm ready to go. Well, I saw the clerk think, yeah, that's not okay. So the clerk's upset now, walks over and lets this kid out of the fitting room and says, you can't lock your son in the fitting room. That's not acceptable. You can't do that here. You're going to need to, do your stuff and then move along, But this woman just was going to keep shopping and allow her children to run all over and this little boy to keep crying. And it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. It was annoying everybody. It's the wrong kind of store. I mean, you're not in Walmart, I mean, just if that's happening, it's time for you to be an adult, pick up your stuff, take your child, walk outside, have a conversation with them, comfort them, do something to fix the situation, right? But again, I digress because we don't know her situation. We don't know why she was behaving the way she was, why she was letting her kids be so crazy and emotional. And maybe she was just being a bad mom, but we don't know that. Maybe she is neglectful. We don't know that. maybe she just was tired of dealing with the kids and just wanted to do something for herself and thought, you know what, whatever, you know, but still, you have to consider the situation and the element and the atmosphere you're in and make some changes and some adjustments, right? So when you look at someone and you remember the person that they were in the past, and you believe that you know that person's past and the kind of person they were because you heard it from all these other people, that doesn't make it true, okay, at all. But also, you need to remember that you can only know this person judged on what you know of this person. And you should never be judging them on what other people tell you because it's unfair. Because everybody's judgment is based on something else. Maybe on a bad day they had, or maybe they just point blank don't like the way that person looks. You can't judge someone based on somebody else's opinion of them. You need to have an opinion of your own, and you need to see them through your eyes. And you need to give them a benefit of the doubt until they give you reason not to. And you also need to know that people grow up and people change. And you need to accept that, and you need to give them that opportunity to prove that to you. I think that's vital. I also think that we can't take advantage of people or, expect from people what they aren't capable of giving or what you expect them to give, because not everything is about you, and not everybody is in the situation to give to you what you need at the time you need it. Sometimes there are circumstances that hinder that ability. And so I just think there's a lot of things in play that people forget. And so, I say to you, let he without sin cast the first stone. And I promise you, nobody out there will be able to cast that stone. But we won't remember that because we're human. We're still going to judge. We're still going to critique. We're still going to attack because we're human. But maybe just a small part of us can start looking beyond, loving more, having faith, being more understanding, being more forgiving, allowing for change, allowing an opportunity to move past something, move on and start over. Why can't we do that? Holding on to things and holding grudges and holding anger and consistently treating someone like damaged goods because you can't let go of an argument you had with them, that's just silly. It's time to let go. It's time to move on. It's time to go on and try to have a better life. Why would you want to walk around being a negative ninny all the time? I don't understand that. And again, I digress because I have a little sister that drives me absolutely out of my mind. And I probably judge her a lot more than I should, but I judge her because I see it. I hear it. It's kind of right there physically in my face. So it's easier for me to judge her antics. But I don't love her any less. I just expect better of her. And I always allow the opportunity for her to prove it to me. So I think that's what people are missing. We can't always be perfect for everybody, but, allow us the opportunity to try. Allow us the opportunity to prove differently than what you first saw. And, allow for the opportunity to start over. Take a breath and a step back wait it out, and see if things change. That was the advice given to me. That's the advice I'm giving to you today. Take a step back, take a deep breath, wait it out, and ask yourself, are you able to cast that stone? Are you without sin? And then decide whether you want to. It certainly isn't wrong to express the way you feel. It is wrong to react the same way as the person that you're angry with, because two wrongs never make a right. So take a breath, take a step back, and just wait it out. That's all we can do, folks. And I'm learning that. And I have to learn that because my blood pressure is so sky high. If I don't learn that, I'm going to end up in the hospital. That's not a good thing. So, as always, my prayers go out to all of you. I hope that you have a wonderful summer. I hope that you all come see me and celebrate with me at the grand opening of our store, US Route 23 on F41 in Oscoda, Michigan. And I hope someone gives you a moment. I hope they take a step back and wait it out, because we all deserve that. And I ask you to keep throwing some prayers out there for me as well, and my family. Hopefully we can work through all of our things and make some new choices and some better choices, and find some new hope and happiness. Maybe a new atmosphere. Sometimes that's a great thing. So things are on the horizon, and I can't wait to share them with you as they come. So take care. Have a great Tuesday. God bless you all. God bless America. God be with our soldiers. They're all being sent out and deployed to different areas of this country and other countries, and God just watch over them all. My son is a soldier, and I worry about him every time he tells me that they have plans to deploy somewhere. So God bless all those soldiers and their families, and what they're giving up to protect all of us is just amazing. So, and to protect our country. So God bless them all. And I will be back to talk to all of you before Memorial Day comes around the corner, I think. No, I won't. I won't. Sometime after Memorial Day, I'll be back to talk to you, maybe even on Memorial Day. So let's go with that. Have a great one, guys. Take care and see you next time.